Hey guys, I'm going to write up your equipment list really quick. You'll need some dumbbells. You'll need a stability ball if you have one. And today I've got a broomstick or something to use for balance. And we'll be working on mainly a strength workout today. We'll try to do a whole body strength, so a little bit of everything in there. Okay. All right, so let's go through our standard little warm-up. I'm gonna go with a wide stance and start to swing my arms forwards and back. I've been painting a lot today, so my body's a little tight, just kind of in some weird ways. So I'm going to do a pretty thorough warm-up just to make sure that I'm ready for this strength workout. I'm going to do a little rotation, side to side. If you add just a little bit of bend to your knee on this one, that helps stabilize your hips a bit more, and you should get more twist through your torso or through your spine versus your hips going side to side there. All right, I'm going to do a couple big reaches down towards my toes. So it's okay to have a little bit of round to your back on this one. I'm going to hang out down there for a few seconds. I'll try to flatten my back from that position, give it a little pressure. Stand up and go hips forward, the opposite direction. Back down again. Ooh, my low back's really tight. I'm kind of leaning backwards a bit. I'm gonna walk over to one way, walk the other side. Back up for that same hips forward, low back extension stretch. All right, there's one I gave you a little while back called squat progression. And it factors in that reach towards the ground. So let's go feet about shoulder width or a little wider. I'll show you from the side here. We're going down towards your toes. Squatting as low as you can go with your heels on the floor. Both hands go up in the air. And then we're standing. And we repeat that same number of steps over again. So towards the floor with your hands. Try to feel a stretch in the back of your legs. You squat as low as you can go. Hands up. And stand for 2. Let's go for about 8 of these things. And just work at your own speed. If one part of the motion feels better than others, you can hang around. Like let's say, for example, for me, this part of the stretch feels great. I'm going to spend a little bit more time in this portion than the other 2. About 4 more here. If you find this challenging, you can use something like a seat or a chair to go down to as a height guide. So I would go down here, use the edge of the couch, hands up, and then stand, and that can help keep your weight in your heels if you're having trouble on that one. Sometimes people with longer legs have a harder time getting down here with their weight back on the backside of their foot. 1 more. All right, I'm gonna do a couple little hip flexor stretches. So striding back, I'm gonna drive my body forward, try to tilt my hips underneath as I hold that. I'm just going to switch side to side. Drive forward, tilt your hips under. And we should be feeling the front of your leg on the trailing leg back here, getting a stretch from above your hip, or kind of the front of the hip here, down halfway towards your middle of your thigh. All right, 1 more on this other leg. I'm going to go about the same thing with a side-to-side stretch. So I'm a big stride out. I'm going to try to get a stretch on the inner thigh here, my adductors. I want to hold 5 to 10 seconds before I switch over to the other side. All right, switch. And 1 more each direction. You can use your hand wherever you'd like to for balance, on the floor, on your knee. There you go, good. To the other side. I'm going to keep both feet wide. I'm going to go right down the middle here and go 1 more stretch for my hamstrings and low back. They're starting to loosen up. All right, big old swimmers. You can alternate side to side or just do one side, then switch and do the other, whatever feels better. Let's get a couple more warm-up squats in there after these two. So get your feet back a little wider, and let's go down nice and low each rep. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 more, 6, 7, 8. On these last two, I'm going to challenge you to keep your hands overhead. 9 and 10. We'll be doing some of those today. It's a little bit of a challenging version of a squat. All right. So let's get some jumping jacks in to get your heart rate going. And we'll go for about 30 seconds here before we start with the hard stuff. 6, 8, 9, 10. There's a few exercises on today's list that I'm going to keep my shoes on for. So if you're barefoot, I'd have some shoes handy just in case you need them for putting pressure into your toes. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. All right, nice job. So the first one, we don't need any equipment or any weight. We will need your broomstick or something to hold on to for balance. So we're trying to do a reverse lunge without touching your back foot. Now, if you need to touch your back foot, that's okay. Just as a demonstration here, my left hand has the balance point. My left leg is going to be the one stepping back. So I'm getting my balance. I'm going to step back, try to touch my knee on the floor, and then I'm driving back up with my right foot. And we can do the same thing with the other foot when we switch. So since these are challenging, I'm going to go for about 5 to 10 out of each leg. I'm going to start with my weaker leg, my left leg. So my right hand has the balance point. I'm going to set my right foot back. And I'm trying to just lightly tap my knee and then drive back up to the top. So lightly tap, drive back up for 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get a couple more in if you can. 6, try to keep that back foot off the floor. 7, 8. How about 2 more if you can make it? 9. And there's my 10 on the first leg. All right, again, if you need to use your foot on the back leg, that's okay. Try to keep most of that weight in your front foot though. All right, same 10 count. You ready? And going down, tap just that back knee and then pull up to the top 1. This is my stronger side. It feels a little easier too. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 more, 8, 9, and there's my 10. All right, good. I'm gonna give you a little recovery after that one, and we'll be moving on to a sitting shoulder press. So we'll find your weights. And the reason this sitting shoulder press is challenging is because it requires you to engage your muscles in your mid and upper back. So I've got 15s. That may be a little much, but we'll give it a try. If you can keep your legs all the way straight and make sure you've got a straight spine, go for that. Since my hamstrings are a little tight today, I'm gonna bend my knees just a bit, just to make sure I can get the correct position in my back. So from here, weights are at shoulder height, and we're gonna power all the way up and then back down. You ready? And let's push up. I'm gonna go for at least 12 here. 1, 2, and you should feel those muscles in your mid and upper back working to keep you upright. 4, but also those big shoulder muscles doing your press. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's keep pushing. 10 in. Who can make 5 more? 11, 12, 13. 2 left. 14, And 15 there. Nice job. We'll keep those same weights. I'm going to bring you over to your back, and we're working on an alternating skull crusher. So we're laying back. Weights are over your shoulders, and we're going to go one at a time down towards the floor, and then back up. And I want to alternate to that other arm, down and back up. You ready? All right, lower one side, up. Make sure you use control on these, and we're not letting them swing or letting gravity take over. I'll get 5 in. Let's see if we can get to about 20 total. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If you need a little more challenge here, 14. Bring those feet up. Now get your core involved. 15, 16, 17. 3 more to go. 3, 2, and you got them. Nice job. All right, let's bring it back up to your feet. Make sure you don't stand up too fast. That can make you a little lightheaded. So one of my tricks is to go to your knee for a little while, hang out here for a few seconds, and then once you've got your breath, slowly work your way all the way back up to your feet. I'll give you a little time to shake out your arms there. Nice job. Go back to your broomstick or whatever you're using as a balance point. And let's go for about 5 to 10 more on those reverse lunges. Let's see who can do it with no feet. So my right hand has it. My right foot's going to be stepping back. So starting with my weaker side. You're ready, set, and try to do light touch with that knee in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 left, 9, and there's my 10. Whew, those are tough. All right, while I'm waiting, I'm just going to do a little shoulder opener here. So using my broomstick, really wide grip. See how far you can stretch back without hurting your shoulders? If you can get all the way around, do a few of those with me. This is going to prep us for one of our next round exercises. So this should be pretty light intensity. Don't go to the point where you feel any sharp pains. But so if you can only get to here, get to there, then bring it back, where you're getting a little stretch. All right, let's go to that second side. My left leg is going to be stepping back. My right leg is stabilizing me. You ready? And let's slowly lower, tap, and then pull back up. 1, 2, 3. Remember, the modification is just using that foot to help boost you up on that back leg. 5 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and you got it. Nice job. All right, let's head back to that seated position on the floor, working on more shoulder presses here. So if you remember, if you can go straight legs, let's go for some straight legs. If you need to angle your knee or bend them a little, that's okay. If you don't have great flexibility, that's one way to help keep your body in the right position there, lifting your knees just a bit. All right, I'm gonna go from a side view so you can see what my back's doing. I wanna make sure on this one that I'm not rounding with my back as I push overhead. I wanna be upright, chest up, shoulders in that pack position that we've talked about before. All right, weights in place. Ready? And let's go for 15 again if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4. You should be engaging those muscles in the middle and low back. 5, 6. So they'll get the workout just from holding you in place. 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go 5 more all the way up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep that 4. And you got it. Nice job. All right. So say if you have 10-pound weights and they're a little bit heavy for your skull crushers or 15s like I have, one thing you can do is hold on to one weight at a time, we're just gonna be holding it on either side here. So my palms are facing in. I wanna make sure I'm not holding this direction. You can, that's okay. But you're gonna have a firmer grip out here to the side. And it should feel more natural or comfortable for your hand placement. 2, let's take these all the way to 15 to 20 range. 3, 4, I'm gonna go ahead and pull my feet off the floor to give my abs a little more work. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks good. How about 5 to 10 more? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Try to keep your elbows as stationary as you can. 18, don't let them drift forwards and backwards. And I've made my 20 there. Nice work. And again, I'm slowly working my way back up to my feet. Seated position for a second. Take a breath or two. Let's go to a kneeling position. Another breath or two here. And we'll come all the way back up to your feet when you feel like you're ready for it. All right, so since today's strength, I need to do more than 2 rounds. Let's go one more time through. Make it a third. Let's see if we can match our numbers. You ready? And going down, just tap your knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's my 10. Good. A lot of people ask how to breathe on an exercise. So while we're catching our breath here in between, we try to always breathe out on the exertion phase of the exercise. And the exertion phase is usually where the muscles that we're trying to target are contracting. Or when you're pushing the weight that you have away from gravity. For example, on this exercise, my body is the weight. So when I'm pushing away from the ground or against gravity, that's my exertion phase. If I'm lifting a barbell, when that weight comes up, it's lifting away from gravity, and I'm shortening the muscles here that I'm trying to target. That's our exertion phase on a curl. So try to keep that in mind as you do the next few exercises here. All right, ready? And lower down. Power up for 10. 2, 3, shoulders back, chest up. 4, I can catch myself when I lean forward too much on this one. 5, 6, you can use that pole for some assistance to get up. 7, 8, 2 left. 9, and there's your 10. All right, one more down on the floor with the shoulder presses, and one more on the skull crushers. Ooh. All right, going back towards you. A little bend in my knees, my shoulders are packed. And 3, 2, 1, let's go overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4, nice job. 5, 6, keep those muscles in your mid and low back engaged. 7, don't let your back round. 8, 9, 10, 5 more presses. 4, 3, 2, and you got it. All right, let's head down to the floor for some skull crushers. Let's go for either 20 alternating or 15 with that one single weight here. All right, weights over your shoulders. We're slowly lowering one at a time and powering back up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, halfway there. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 5 more to make that 20. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. All right, good. So we're coming back up to your feet, and the next one's going to take a little bit of balance. So we've got a one leg Romanian deadlift. And at the top, we're gonna curl our weight. So we're gonna have one hand holding a dumbbell. I'm gonna start with my right hand holding the dumbbell. My left foot is gonna be the leg I'm balancing on. So just for a visual here, we're gonna hinge, kick that foot behind you. And as I pull back up to the top, I'm gonna give that weight a curl. Then I go right back down. So from a side view, weights in my hand, I'm gonna lower, kicking that leg way back behind me, pull up, curl at the top. We're gonna go for 10 of those on either side. So I'm gonna start this direction, left foot balancing, right hand has the weight. I get my balance first before I kick. You ready? Let's go back, pull up, and let's get a curl at the top of each repetition. 1. Try to feel a stretch in the back of your leg that you're balancing on every time you go down towards the floor. 3. One thing to keep in mind here is to think of this as a hinge at the waist and not a reach towards the floor. That's going to help keep your back a little more neutral. All right, 6. So we don't ever want to round your back on this one. 7. Try to keep it as nice and flat as you can. 8. 9. One more. There's my 10. Good. One thing you will notice on this exercise is the higher you pull this knee at the top of each rep, the more this glute back here on the opposite side works to stabilize and keep your hips in place. So if you like working the glutes, lift your opposite knee a little bit higher. All right, get my balance. I'm gonna hinge down, get a nice stretch, and at the top, pull out knee high with my curl. 1. 2. 3. If you bobble on this, that's fine. Just get back into it, focus on your next rep. 4. Don't dwell on the bad ones. Just try to get the next one with a clean sweep. 5. 5 more. It's okay to have a little bend in that knee of the leg you're balancing on here. Where are we at there? 7. Save it. 8. 2 more. 9. And there's my 10. All right, nice shot, guys. On the list, we've got a side lunge to a dumbbell shoulder press. So we're gonna keep that one weight. I'm gonna keep it, let's see, in the hand of whichever leg is stepping out. So if my right leg is stepping out, my right hand has that weight. I'm gonna try to keep that up by my shoulder here. Other hand can be wherever you like, out here on your hip. I'm gonna go for a side lunge. So down into a lunge at the top. I'm pushing all the way back up together, way overhead. Okay, so side lunge, push up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go for 10. 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. And there's your 10. Nice job. Let's switch sides. I'll give you a little recovery. All right. So weights up close to your shoulder. Big stride over to the other side. Power all the way overhead to the top. 1, 2. Try to get as low in that lunge as you can. 3, 4. I'm a little limited on my flexibility here. 5. My adductors start to give me a little bit of pull. 6 to the bottom of that rep. That's how I know I've reached the bottom of my limit. 9. And there's our 10. All right, for the next one, if you have a stability ball, grab it. If not, let me show you the alternative before I use that. So all we're gonna do is have your hands behind you on the floor in the prone position, and we're lifting everything as high as you can. So these are repetitions up and down. If you have a ball, I'm gonna roll you out over the top. And this is the photo in my thumbnail for this video. I'm rolled out I'm gonna support myself with my hands. Notice that my hips are hinged right on top of the ball. I'm gonna lower my upper body down towards the floor, find my balance point, and I'm trying to lift as high as I can. So it's coming from my low back, my glutes, and my hamstrings, all lifting my lower body up. So try to keep the ball somewhat stationary. Are you ready? And we're lifting. Try to tap the floor at the bottom of each rep. 2. Don't swing. Slowly lift up to the top. 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. 7, 8, 9. It's kind of the opposite of a sit-up. 10. So if you do a lot of sit-ups, 11, you need to be doing something like this as well. 12, 13. Let's go 2 more. 14. And there's my 15. For a little break afterwards, you can relax over the top of the ball, give your back a rest, and take a few breaths. So on that exercise, I'm lifting my lower body up, away from gravity. That's when I exhale as I lift, and I inhale on that way back down. Let's find your weight again. And we'll do that same balancing on 1 foot exercise with a curl at the top. I'm gonna balance on my left leg first. Right arm is holding the weight. Remember, this is not a reach, it's a hinge at the waist. Get your balance. Ready? And let's kick back. Curl at the top of each repetition. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go to 10 before we switch. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. 9. All right, and there's my 10. Good. Let's switch it up to the other side. If you're having trouble balancing on this one, find something like the arm of a chair, and you can use that other hand to kind of just give you a slight assistance on each repetition there. It doesn't have to be much, but just something to help you balance if you're really struggling here. All right, so weight's now on my right foot. My left hand has the weight. I'll use my other hand for balance out to the side, and I'm going to pull up and curl. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice flat spine. Should be feeling a stretch in the back balancing on. 6. Now with a combination movement like this one, just find your own breathing pattern. Whatever works best for you here, since we're doing a couple different lifts. 2 more. 9. And we made it a clean sweep all the way through for 10. Nice. All right, we'll keep that weight in one hand. We're doing a side lunge with a press overhead at the top of each repetition. I'll give you a little chance to recover on your leg. Since we just finished that one, I'm going to go to left hand, left leg stepping out. All right, are we ready? Out to the side, get a nice stretch. Push your weight overhead at the top. Right back into your step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep your chest up, chin up. 8, and avoid letting your body hinge forward too much here. 9, 1 more. And there's my 10. Now I'm ready to switch to the other. Give you a few seconds to breathe. So on this one, I'm going to inhale on the lower, exhale as I push back up together. It's a combination movement, but both are working at the same time. Okay, ready? And over lunge, inhale. Exhale to the top. Inhale. 2. Let's see if we can keep that pattern for these 10 repetitions. 3, 4, 5, 6. How low can you go? 7, 3 more. Way down. 8, 9. And there's my 10. All right. Let's go back to your ball. If you don't have that ball, down to the floor, looking for those Superman lifts. This one, we're just using your lower body. So my target is my low back mainly. I get a little glute, a little hamstring. So roll out. Let's make sure that your hands are wider than shoulder width apart. You're keeping them somewhat close to the ball. That way we can have a little weight in them, but we're not putting too much weight in your hands. Most of that weight is on your hips hinged on the top of the ball. You ready? We're going to slowly lift and then control down. Just tap your toes for me. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale to the top. 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and there's my 15. Good. All right, time-wise, if you're watching at home, I'd like you to do a third round on all those. For us today, to make it on time, I'm going to have to go ahead and move us on to the next grouping of exercises. So, we're doing an overhead squat. Now, I'm going to start you with the barbell, or your broomstick. So part of the challenge on this one is keeping the bar overhead. So ideally, I'd like to have my bar, and bring my camera angle up a little bit. If I drew a line down from the bar, when I do this exercise, I'd like to have it over my shoulders, right here. And as I lower, the bar's going to go forward just a little bit, but I'd like to see if I drew a line down, that line should intersect the middle of your foot. Okay, so I'll do that again where you can see my foot placement. Back overhead. I want to go way down. Now if I drew a line down, that should be between my toe and heel there. Try not to have it out here in front of you, okay? So let's go for 10 repetitions. If you're feeling fatigued through your shoulders and upper back, you can drop your bar down in between repetitions, then go back into it here, okay? So let's go for 10 good reps. I'll face you this first round. All right, bars overhead. Got a nice wide stance, toes slightly angled out. I'm lowering down and then back up for 1. If you can keep the bar overhead, give it a try. 2, notice my chest is up, chin is up. 3, 4, weights in my heels at all times. 5, 6, 7. All right, try to keep that bar back as far as you can. 8, 2 more. 9, and 10. If you're really struggling with that one, I'd encourage you to prop your heels up on something. So, for example, if I took my shoes off and just put my heels on the front of my shoes there, that makes it quite a bit easier for somebody who's lacking ankle mobility to get down to the bottom of that overhead squat. So if you struggle, next round, get something to prop up underneath your heels. Let's grab your weights, and I'm going to do an alternating curl with you. All right. So my goal for you here is to try to keep both weights moving at all times. So there's never a pause at the bottom or top of any repetition. So my weights are starting to the side. I'm going to go and start with 1 to the top. As this one's lowering, the other one's raising. But I'm not using momentum or swinging. I got you. 3, 4, we're going all the way to 30 here. 5, 6. I'm gonna go to the side so you can see my upper body's nice and stationary. And my weights aren't swinging. I'm controlling those as I lower and raise. 10, 12. No pause at the top or bottom. 14, 16, all the way to 30. 18, 20, 10 more repetitions. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's my 30th repetition. All right. After that one, what have I got for you here? Cobra press, side press, close grip push-ups. Okay. So we've done variations of push-ups in the past. Close grip is going to be somewhere around this width, so shoulder width or closer together. Notice that my fingers are pointing forward. I'm not letting them angle in or way out to the side here. So let's go for some close grip push-ups. Slow on the way down with control, and then we're going to power on that way up to the top. So think of counting 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi as you lower, and then about 1 second on the return to the top. So a couple repetitions should be about this speed. Nice and slow down, power to the top. So hands are nice and close, fingers forward. I'm going to lock my core in place. I want to make sure that I'm not letting my hips drop here. So nice tight belly, tight glutes. Slowly lower, power to the top. That's when we breathe out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. If you're having trouble, go to the knees. 4, 5. Let's see if we can make 12. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 more. And 12. Good. So you may notice that you don't have quite the quickness on that last repetition as you do on that first one. That's okay, as long as you're trying to push up with that power. That's what I'm looking for. All right, back to the overhead squat. So I'm going to give you the side view this time. So keep in mind, the barbell is over the top of your shoulders. If I drew a line down, it's going to go between my toe and heel of my foot here. All right, so kind of a wide stance, toes angled out. Control that on the way down, and then back up to the top. Let's go for 10 more. 2, 3. If your shoulders are getting tired, you can drop that weight. 4. If you're finding this one really easy, 5. Go ahead and grab each dumbbell. 6. And that'll make it a substantial amount harder for you. 7. 8. 9. I'm going to go 3 more. 3. 2. And you got it. And we should feel a lot of engagement through your upper back, your shoulders to keep all that drawn up and back there. And that's a great corrective exercise for somebody who does a lot of stuff in front or at a desk. All right, after those, alternating curls and back to those close grip push-ups. So you can add whatever variation you want here. If you like to do supinated or palms up, that's fine. I was doing a rotation first round as I did my curl. So I'm gonna go supinated this second round. Ready? Let's go ahead and bring 1 up, and then we're constantly moving both weights. 4, let's try to match our 30. 6, 8, try to draw your abs in. That'll keep you from swinging a little bit. 12, 14, no pauses, top or bottom. 16, try to get a full range of motion, all the way down, all the way up. 10 more reps. 22, 24, 26, 28, 2 more reps. And there's my 30. Awesome work. All right. Shake those out a little. Back to your close grip push-ups. If I'm looking at myself from the bottom, my elbows tuck into my rib cage versus flaring out here. So try to keep them tucked in. And again, if you need to modify, you can go to your knees or to an elevated surface like the edge of your couch. All right, let's go for 12 more repetitions. This should be hitting your triceps on the back of your arm. A little bit of shoulders and chest in here too. Remember on this one, I'll lock my core in. I'm gonna try to tilt my hips back this way. Lock that in place. Let's get our hand position. All right, ready? Slow on the way down. Power on the way up. 2. My chest should be lowering towards my hands. 3, not my head or neck. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you get all the way to the floor, just do a light tap down there. And there's my 12. Good. Another common thing I see with push-ups is people like to drop their head forward into it. It makes you feel like you're getting closer to the floor, but imagine that your chest is your lead point here as we lower down. All right, and again, I'm gonna have to go ahead and move you on to the last few things here. A few stretches to end the day. So again, if you're watching at home or you're putting this on pause, go ahead and get one more round on those 3 exercises for a third set through. All right, so for stretching, I'm gonna start you with using some kind of elevated surface. Edge of your table. I'm gonna use the armrest here. And to get a stretch through my chest and shoulders, I'm gonna grab my hands together, clasp behind my back. And I'm gonna go to close to that, leaning forward. Then I'm gonna straighten up. And I should feel a nice stretch in my chest and anterior shoulders or the front of your shoulders there. Let's go ahead and hold that position for a bit. My mobility on this one is okay. So some of you may not be able to get this high, and some of you may be able to get quite a bit higher, so maybe the edge of a high table or countertop would be more fitting for you. All right, since we're in this position already, I'm gonna go ahead and bring us out to a kneeling hip flexor stretch. So find something to balance with. I'm gonna use this. Let's go out to the side. Okay, from a kneeling position, I'm gonna try to split out quite a bit. I'm gonna tuck my hips underneath here, then drive forward and get that hip flexor pulling again. All right. Try to relax that leg that's down on the floor as best you can. Sometimes on an exercise or a stretch like this where it's hard to balance, a lot of people will tend to tense up. And when you tense, you don't get the benefit out of the stretch like you do when you relax into it. Your body's pretty good at that. It's called guarding. So it knows to not stretch too far or it's going to get hurt. But we can bypass a little bit of that with just a little bit of mind-muscle connection, to the point where we get a little more benefit out of the stretch without hurting ourselves. So knees on the floor, I'm tilting my hips backwards, tucking my glutes in, and then I'm driving forward into that. I'm relaxing this leg as much as I can. All right, I'm gonna finish you out with a couple sun salutations. So just kind of a whole body sequence here. I've done this a few times in my past workouts. If you haven't done them yet, so here's how we do it. We start reaching overhead, nice and high. We grab our hands together, and then we're gonna slowly fold forward to the floor. I can get around to my back on this one. I don't have to worry about keeping a flat back. From there, I'm gonna use both hands on the floor, and I'm gonna step my right foot way back into a deep lunge. And we're gonna do kind of a hip flexor stretch like we were just doing. Hold that for a second or two, and I'm gonna bring my other foot back. From here, I'm gonna take my core slowly lower, and then push up into a cobra. From there, I'm gonna push back to a downward dog, so my toes tuck in. I can walk them in a little more if I need to, and I'm gonna hinge back and try to feel a stretch in my hamstrings. Feet are shoulder width apart, my head's tucked under a little. I'm trying to straighten my knees and lift my hips towards the ceiling. So I step my right leg back. So this time I'm gonna step my right leg forward and do that same deep lunge stretch. I'm gonna point that toe back. And I'm gonna bring that all the way back up to that forward fold. And then slowly raise back to overhead. Let's go one more of those. So I'm gonna flow a little bit quicker through this one, down towards the floor. I'm gonna lead with my left leg this time, so left leg back, deep lunge. Then I'm gonna take the other leg back, Lower into a cobra. Point my toes. Bring my toes back in towards my shins. Go into a downward dog with my feet shoulder width apart. Nice straight knees, hips up, chin tucked. My left leg stepping forward to another deep lunge. Point your toe. Bring it together to a forward fold. And slowly back overhead to finish that one out. All right. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you had a good strength workout. And if you're watching this one later or doing it at home, try to do a couple more repetitions on each of those rounds. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday for another full body workout. Thanks, guys.